Welcome, everybody, to It Tastes Different in Gaming News. What's on the news today? Sony has a new controller in 10 years. Maybe. In an article on IGN, Sony has posted a video what gaming could look like. And it's not pretty. Me and Nick here, we watched the video, and yeah, not looking to the future too much. So in the article, what will we be playing? What will playing a video game look like in 10 years from now? Will video games be something we beam directly into our brains, or will we be still be gaming in front of a big TV, monitor, or mobile as we do today? In a new video, Sony has imagined what a PlayStation controller might look like in 10 years. And it's something out of Star Trek. I would maybe the lower decks. Sony's Creative Entertainment Vision YouTube video showed a number of designs for futuristic devices, including a gaming controller. Now, while Sony makes a point of saying that the content in the video is not directly related to any existing Sony product, it is fun to imagine playing a video game with this controller. So the image shows a PlayStation controller connected to what looks like a floating and curved screen. In this, the screen is merely a projection from the controller. So any actual physical screen that floats in space, perhaps via the power of magnets. Sony does not explain, and it doesn't have to. This isn't a prototype. It's just, somebody's little imagination going little nuts. So in the video, they show what possibly could be a controller in the future. I think 10 years is probably a little too soon, or ever would be too soon. They also showed a phone in the video, and me and Nick watched it, and my first thought was it looked like something you saw from one of them Nickelodeon shows like iCarly. So, yeah, I'm going to pass on that. They were trying for Tony Stark, and they ended up with Tony Baloney. So let's jump into Nick and see what he thought about the future of gaming, the future of that controller. Because if you remember, we used to have the boomerang banana thing. Now we've got a floating screen on a Ritz cracker. I don't know what the hell that thing was. What do you think about that, Nick?
I mean, this is just for fun mostly. It's just a potentially futuristic look at technology in 10 years type of thing, right? From Sony's perspective, with because it starts out with the lady, she puts on AR or like VR glasses, AR VR glasses, but they're not a headset, right? It's just like a pair of sunglasses, and then they create, her and her team create a game within this VR space, and they're able to publish the game directly from there, right? They're able to create and mold and put the game together just using their hands, because it didn't show that she had any sort of peripheral, like a controller or some sort of joystick. And then they create this game about an astronaut in space flying around. And that theme kind of goes throughout, right? They show like a tablet, which is like a elongated just screen. They show a phone, which looks like not a phone I would want to use, even in the future. It's almost like for the phone, it seems like we didn't really creatively think far into that one. We just kind of like shrunk the tablet that we had showed prior to that just down into an oval shape and said that's the phone. And then they show the controller. In the controller itself, yeah, I mean, again, it's just more of a creative type thing. Still no offset sticks, right? We still have the parallel sticks in the future. So 10 years in the future. It almost seems like more of the face buttons they have for where the D-pad and the triangle, square, X, circle are today. It almost looks like those are touch, buttons as far as the prototype, or the not really prototype, but the distant future controller that they're showing, right? So you still have two joysticks, it looks like. You have some sort of light ring in the center, and then where the D-pad and the buttons would be, you have, which almost looks like a touchpad, kind of similar to the Valve controller, where they have the circle pads on there that you could edit and make them do different things, right? And they were just touch. You touch the different parts of the circle pad. So that almost seems like what they've kind of created here with that. Which is not the reason why the Valve controller didn't do so well, besides the fact that it went with the Steam Deck, and the Steam Deck didn't do so well either. But I mean, that controller didn't do well just on its own, because no one really cared much for the touchpad buttons, right?
Yeah. I don't think I don't know. The more I think about it, this might be the future, because you think about it, Nick, our youth plays on mobile phones more than to do with keyboard and mouse and joysticks and controllers. They might be into this. I mean, but if you look at the video on the thumbsticks, they almost look like balls, and the functionality buttons on the left and right, they look like God, I don't even know how to describe it. The symbols on the left look like your windshield wiper speeds, because intermediate, a little faster than high, super high, and knock the bird shit off your window speed, and then the right side, I don't even know how to describe it. It looks like the bird crap that flew off your windshield. I don't ever want to play on a screen that small if I don't have to. Mobile gaming is fine. I don't ever take my Switch anywhere, but I can see this being the future, at least the controller, not the floaty screen BS, but I can definitely see that, because the youth, they play on their phones. They don't, they don't think about the controller like we do, like sensitivity on the sticks, and how the buttons feel when you push them down, things like that. But, if this is the future, boy, I'm glad I go retro a lot, so, because that worries me. But the phone is probably the worst thing in the video. It looks like I looked it up while you were talking. It was the Pear phone from iCarly. So yeah, I don't want that. And knowing Sony, they'll make that the new Vita. So, ugh. But it's an interesting concept. It was an interesting video. Far as game production part of it, when they put on their augmented VR glasses, whatever they call them, and they're in there and they're doing their little discussion and they're creating things, and they can hit publish. To me, that's the more interesting concept. The game development part of it. I thought that was interesting. Far-fetched as hell, but I thought that was interesting for the developer to just, click publish, boom, it's out. There it goes. I thought that was the coolest part. But by doing so, then you get rid of discs. And I don't want to get rid of discs, but it is what it is, I guess.
It'll happen.
Yeah, unfortunately. But overall, it's an interesting idea. It's an interesting thought on what controllers will look like. I mean, if you think about how the console itself has changed, just from the Nintendo, point of view alone, it's, they've gone like this to a box to a cube to a flat little, screen, multiple little devices that go together to make one thing. It's really interesting to think about how things are going. Controllers have evolved a lot more on the inside than they really have on the outside. Microsoft, for instance, really revolutionized the controller with the Duke. Well, excuse me, with the small version of the Duke. I can't remember what they call that version. And then as it's progressed, it's gotten better and better and better. PlayStation, for me, the whole stick thing not offsetting them to me is a big mistake. But that being said, the new PlayStation 5 controller feels really good in your hands. It really does. I prefer the offset sticks, but they've still done a wonderful job. And just the original PlayStation controller was a D-pad, and then they came out with a DualShock, and then it's just, it's slowly progressed. One thing, and I believe they're still using the same battery sources as the PlayStation 1. That's the biggest problem with PlayStation. They have the crappiest battery life. So, but it's an interesting video. It's an interesting ideal, and I would like to see Microsoft do something like this, and Nintendo, kind of give us ideas of what they see in the future, what they see for their future. I personally, I'm thinking Idiocracy. They'll just have something goes up your butt and something goes up your nose, and the other way, and then you'll be able to play that way. I think that's going to be the way the world goes, because the world's going Idiocracy. What do you think? You got anything else on this?
No, I think that, it kind of showcases that going more mobile, right? Mm-hmm. Because they do show the controller with the screen coming out of it. Yep. I don't necessarily want it to go that way. And that's kind of the way that Nintendo's, they're kind of, with the Switch, they're right in between, right? Because you can do both. But then what's going to change from console manufacturers just to being completely mobile, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, Microsoft is already implementing Game Pass into TVs, where you can just Bluetooth your controller right to it and stream your games. And they've already dabbled. They're already dabbling in the mobile market with the streaming service to your phone and hooking up your phone to your controller. So it's a nice option, but I mean, we're still a ways away from being reliable to be able to stream a Call of Duty type game on a handheld. I mean, to be able to stream that solid, we're going to be a ways away on that. But
that just puts forth a grim future of everyone's going to be so busy that they won't even have time to sit down to play a game or watch a movie. Everything will be on the go, right? Because you're constantly moving.
Well, text messages are bad enough at stoplights. Can you imagine people trying to get a quick run of Call of Duty in? Holy
There'll be
crap.
Nothing but public transit at that point. Having a car will be a luxury because they fly. And
well, they'll drive you places and yeah. Hey, Tesla, take me to the proctologist. Yes, Dave. I'm not ready for all that crap. All right. Thanks for making it to the end of the video. Let us know what you think. Did you watch the video? We're going to have the link here. You can check it out. Let us know what you think about the phone, the tablet, most importantly, the controller. Where do you think? How do you think the development of controllers is going to go, consoles, all that? Give us your opinions. It's interesting ideals, I think, but I think that you'll never see most anything like that except for the phone. The phone was gross, though. But anyways, make sure you hit like, share, subscribe, all the good things that go along with our videos, because we enjoy them and we enjoy your feedback. And until next time, see ya.